Okay, so who can relate to these situations? You feel like this is an insane gold rush to apply before the money is all gone. You know there's a lot of grant opportunities coming available, but you don't know which ones you should work on. You fear that you're spending a bunch of time writing grant applications, but maybe there's no chance of them being successful. Or you just want to help others that are maybe navigating these tough times, like a nonprofit, and you just want to step in and help them. So processing 1, 2, 3, 4, ones and twos, threes. Yeah, really helpful. All preach it. Yeah, cool. Okay, that's really helpful just to see where you all are at. Okay, so a traditional funding strategy, as we teach it in the course, is a plan to execute funding your entire project or program, and it's a roadmap for figuring out how your organization is going to allocate its resources. And it helps stop the cycle that's very addicting and common, which is chasing grants very haphazardly, like once the announcement's out and you think, oh, we should just do it real fast. The reality is this is usually a 4 to 6 week process to develop, and we don't have that kind of time right now. So we're teaching right now an accelerated version of this. So it's going to be a concise plan about how you're going to pursue grant opportunities related to COVID-19 relief. It can be developed in 1 to 2 weeks. It's always going to be in draft format. It's never really finalized. And it's really key to staying away from feeling really overwhelmed and being organized in this process. The first step is preparing a program overview. Here's an example from one of my students in the course right now. So she teaches robotics in the Soldotna High School in Alaska. So she just put together on one page who she serves, an overview of the program, the cost to run her program, and the outcomes for her students. And this, when she's talking with funders, she sends in advance. So they have a chance to really quickly consume who she is and give her feedback on, yeah, we're interested, we think you actually should apply, right? It sets you apart because you don't then have to get on the phone and explain that stuff audibly. It can be just sent in one page. And it helps her dial in her text for grant applications. Why do we do this? Like I said, it's easy to share with funders. You get very clear on your why and your languaging or your language for applications when you go through this exercise. And it just increases your success rate because very few applicants take the time to do this and actually confirm fit with a funding source before applying. So it's just a good tip for standing apart. So here are several questions. We have a lot more in a traditional project plan, but this is sort of the tight, quick version that you can do literally when we're off this webinar. Who are you the organization? So I am speaking mostly to those of you that are nonprofits, local government, small businesses, etc. I'm not really speaking to the individual right now. So describe what your organization does in 1 to 2 sentences. And I want you to write this from the perspective of if you're sending it to a funding agency. Who do you serve? And describe this very specifically. And how are your beneficiaries impacted by COVID-19? And then what is your secret sauce? Which kind of ties into my next slide, which is how have you been impacted? You, the organization, but also the beneficiaries, because you can't provide your services, right? You can't reach your audience. I want you to be quantifying as much as possible. What is the projected revenue loss? What's the impact to staff? And then have you been able to adapt? Could you pivot what you offer and share kind of how you're adapting with the situation and continuing to provide relief for your community? And then this one's really big. And if you can't write this down, then you're not really saying like what differentiates you. So think beyond like your organization's personal struggles, because every organization has its personal struggles right now. While it's important to know that, think broader, like why is it really important that our work and our organization continues? We employ 6 employees and they are productive members of community, and then talk of course about the impact to your beneficiaries and why it's super important to keep you going so that you don't weather this storm, or you do weather this storm. So getting very clear on your why is going to be instrumental in how you talk about your organization in your grant applications.